The first story takes us to the filming of a famous horror classic from the early 70s. The lead actor was known for being calm, polite, and deeply professional. But once filming began, crew members noticed a terrifying change. Between takes, his eyes would go empty, his voice would drop into a harsh tone, and he would mutter words that were not in the script. One sound technician later claimed that the actor spoke in languages he did not understand. When the director asked him about it, the actor said he remembered nothing. Despite several crew members begging for a pause in filming, production continued. The performance became legendary, praised for its realism, but those who were there still say the fear on screen was not acting. Another chilling case involved a respected dramatic actor during the golden age of Hollywood. He was cast in a role that required intense emotional suffering. To prepare, he isolated himself, refused food for days, and slept very little. Soon, his behavior became alarming. He screamed at people who were not there, laughed during tragic scenes, and once had to be physically restrained after attacking a prop wall as if it were alive. Studio doctors called it exhaustion, but makeup artists noticed strange symbols scratched into his dressing room mirror. The studio erased the marks and ordered everyone to stay silent. The film went on to win awards, but the actor never spoke about that period again. The third story centers on a beloved actor known for playing heroes and gentlemen. During the filming of a supernatural drama, he insisted on performing scenes alone in the dark long after the crew had wrapped for the night. Guards reported seeing him standing motionless on set, whispering to something unseen. When approached, he would suddenly snap back to himself, confused and shaken. One night, he collapsed and reportedly screamed that something would not let him leave. Filming paused for one day, then resumed as if nothing had happened. The studio blamed stress, and the public never knew. In another case, a classic actress experienced a transformation so severe that even her co-stars were afraid of her. Known for her elegance and charm, she took on a role involving madness and obsession. As filming progressed, she refused to break character. Her voice changed, her posture stiffened, and her eyes took on a cold, distant stare. Crew members said the temperature in the room felt different when she entered. Lights flickered, cameras jammed, and animals refused to come near her. When the director suggested a break, studio executives rejected the idea. The performance was hailed as revolutionary, but the actress later admitted she felt like she lost herself, and something else took control. The fifth story involves a legendary actor famous for his powerful presence. During a historical epic, he began experiencing violent outbursts that were not in the script. He struck fellow actors, destroyed props, and once screamed at the sky during a stormy night shoot. Witnesses claimed his face looked different during these episodes, twisted with rage in a way they had never seen. The studio brought in doctors, who quietly prescribed medication, but filming never stopped. Years later, a crew member said it felt like watching a man being driven by something he could not control. Our sixth case is one of the most debated in film history. An actor preparing for a dark religious role immersed himself completely in the subject matter. He read forbidden texts, isolated himself, and refused to sleep near others. Soon, strange accidents began happening around him. Equipment failed, people were injured, and the actor himself was struck by unexplained illnesses. On set, his voice sometimes sounded layered, as if multiple tones were speaking at once. When asked how he achieved such intensity, he said he did not feel like he was acting anymore. Production continued despite growing fear among the crew. The seventh story focuses on a child actor from a classic film. Children on set were usually protected, but in this case, warning signs were ignored. The child began speaking in disturbing ways, using phrases far beyond his age and understanding. His parents were told it was imagination. Crew members, however, reported that he would stare into empty corners and react as if someone were standing there. During one scene, the child delivered lines with an expression so terrifying that the director refused to call cut, later saying it was too real to interrupt. The film became iconic, but many who worked on it said they felt guilty for not stepping in. Another unsettling case involves a method actor who took on a role involving isolation and paranoia. He locked himself in his trailer, covered the walls with disturbing drawings, and refused contact with anyone. When filming resumed, he appeared unrecognizable, thin, pale, and volatile. During takes, he sometimes spoke lines that were not in the script, addressing someone by a name no one recognized. The director later admitted he was afraid but felt trapped by the pressure to finish the film. The actor eventually recovered, but said the role felt like something followed him long after filming ended. The final story is perhaps the most haunting. A legendary actor nearing the end of his career accepted a role that required confronting death and despair. During filming, he reportedly told crew members that he felt watched at all times. He began recording his thoughts at night, leaving behind tapes filled with frightened whispers and warnings. On set, he sometimes froze mid-scene, eyes wide, as if seeing something horrific just beyond the camera. Studio executives dismissed concerns as age and fatigue. The film was completed, released, and celebrated. Shortly after, the actor withdrew from public life, leaving behind questions that were never answered. What connects all these stories is not proof of possession, but the refusal of the industry to slow down when something felt wrong. In a time when mental health was ignored and superstition was mocked, actors were pushed beyond their limits. Some believe these were cases of breakdowns and trauma, while others are convinced something darker was involved. The truth may never be known because those who could have spoken were silenced by contracts, fear, or loyalty to the industry. Classic cinema gave us unforgettable performances, but it also hid painful realities behind the glamour. When you watch these films now, knowing what happened behind the scenes, the performances feel different. The fear, madness, and intensity are no longer just acting. They are echoes of moments when no one stepped in, when cameras kept rolling, and when the line between performance and reality disappeared. If these stories made you question what really happens behind the scenes, you are not alone. Many crew members carried these memories for the rest of their lives. As audiences, we celebrate the art, but it is also important to remember the human cost behind it.